What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You join me here just taking a walk in downtown Oswego, getting that exercise and enjoying the nice weather while it lasts. It is currently 64 degrees and it's after 7 p.m. in the evening on November 3rd. So let that sink in. It's never usually this nice around this time of year, but I'm taking advantage of it. And you know, when I take walks like this, I just think to myself, talk to myself about things that have been on my mind. Namely, for the last 3 months or so. And specifically, it all started with the passing of my grandmother on my mom's side on August 4th, which was just about 3 weeks after I had last seen her. And little did I know that was going to be the last time that I ever saw her. I mean, I knew she wasn't doing too well. She wasn't in all that good of condition. She could no longer drive. But I didn't know that it was going to be her time to go. And I just was very sad to see her go. I mean, I remembered that one day I was just chillaxing in my room and my mom came crying upstairs, and so I asked her what's wrong, and then she shared with me that my grandmother has not much longer to live, and that put me in shock too. So she flew out to Rhode Island, which is where my grandmother lived, with my uncle. And so she spent about a whole week there, and this was, like I said, 3 weeks after our vacation to Rhode Island when I last saw her. So it was about 4 days after my mom had told me that my grandmother has not much longer to live, like less than a week. It was about 4 days after that she finally passed, and I must say that has to be one of the most heartbreaking events I've ever experienced in my life. That and the passing of my best friend Haley, which I've talked about on multiple occasions on the channel, back in March of 2019, March 7th. Both were very sad times, but obviously my grandmother's being just 3 months ago versus Haley's being nearly 4 years ago now. And it was about 4 years ago when Haley was first diagnosed with that rare type of bone cancer, and she was only 17 at the time. Like, she was just weeks away from being 18, so she didn't even live a full year of adulthood, and that was very sad. But back on the subject of my grandmother, what had happened was, like I said, Mom flew out. I was still home, you know, just doing summer work for my bus company. You know, summer routes, taking buses for inspections, stuff like that. And then the day before she died, I called my mom and told her that if my grandmother denies the ride to the hospital, please just call 911. It's for her own good. And it turns out I didn't even need to tell her that, because she had already done so. And it was because that my mom, relatives, and my grandmother talked about it the night before and agreed that a 911 call would be placed and an ambulance would come to the house and take her to the hospital. So there you have it. And then the very next day she passed away, which was incredibly sad. And you know, this may sound weird, but it makes me not want to go back to Rhode Island anymore, because then I'm just going to be reminded that she's no longer with us. And I just remembered all the fun memories, including from my childhood, that I had with Grandma. Like, for example, when she had that wheelbarrow-like attachment for her John Deere tractor, and she would attach that so that way she could drive me and my brother around for fun, just for a few minutes, and we both enjoyed that. It was a very fun experience and something I'll always remember for many years. So, yep, that was before I could drive the tractor myself. I think the first year I did that was either 2011 or 12, so I was either 12 or 13 when that happened. But I was obviously much younger than that when I first got a ride in the tractor along with my brother. But yeah, so those were good times, and like I've said, I probably cannot say this enough. It was really sad to see her go, and I just was not expecting it to be so soon. I mean, like I said, or like I may or may not have said it, she might have been in a not so good condition. She was having bad diarrhea, all sorts of crazy things. She needed help sitting down. She was walking very slow and had a well, not so much of a cane, but a walking cradle that she would have to use to walk. So, you know, just seeing her like that, I felt bad, and I'm just glad that I helped her sit down for whenever she needed to have lunch, when I was up there for vacation, just visiting her in her house. And now she's gone. (1935 to 2022), she was 87 years old. It's just very sad, and ever since then, a lot of other crazy and terrible things have been happening, drama included, and that's only added insult to injury with how I've been feeling about this whole situation. Like, it really has not been fun, and well, I ask that anybody watching, especially my subscribers, just keep her in your prayers, because she meant a lot to me, and we had a lot of fun times together. And I realize that, you know, death is a part of life, and it's inevitable for all of us, and that we're all going to be dead one day. But it's a very sad and excruciatingly extreme part of life that just leaves a toll on your mental health. And stuff like therapy, it only goes so far before, you know, other bad things happen. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about all this, but, you know, like I said, just try to keep her in your prayers. That's all I ask. I really just, I know it's 3 months later, but I don't know what I'm going to do without her. Because my grandfather on my mom's side, he died 4 years before I was even born. So in 1995, that is. And I forgot the reason why he passed away. I think it was cancer or something like that. Cancer's a bitch. And like I mentioned earlier, cancer is what took Haley's life. But anyway, I just thought I would talk about this because I need to get stuff off my chest. And, well, one thing's for sure, even in the toughest times and when I feel like I have nobody to turn to, I turn to YouTube, and you guys always know how to cheer me up. I can't thank you guys enough. I Can't thank you guys enough for almost 23,000 subscribers. Sure, I may be gaining subscribers at a slower rate than a few years ago, but still better than losing subscribers. Because I realize I'm not exactly making the same content I did when I first started the channel. But hey, at least it's something. So every view counts, every subscriber counts. Every dollar I make from ad revenue counts. I mean, even that's gone down, but you don't see me complaining all that much. I mean, sure, I may complain off camera about that from time to time just because it's not what it used to be, but then again, I have a job now, so I'm also making money from my job in addition to YouTube. So, yep. Not very many people can say they have a source of income that isn't usually from a job. So I'm still very thankful and grateful for the fact that I'm able to make money off of filming what I like. Not just for myself, but for you guys. And before I end this video, I may as well talk about the fact that they have this apartment complex here. They might add another one, or they might add something else within the next couple of years in this area, because that area used to look pretty much just like this. In fact, many years ago, that used to be the lot for a used car dealership, which is now across the street over there near where that stop sign is. So yeah, that's pretty much why I've been unmotivated to post the SirenCon stuff and other YouTube videos, but I've been just trying to upload what I can, and like I said, mental health has been at an all-time low for me, and that's kind of why I haven't been uploading as much, just because I need to take care of myself first. I need to put myself first sometimes. I mean, it's not that I don't care for other people, because I absolutely do, which is, I mean, some people do not care for others the way I do, like how I talked about when I went up to Milwaukee in August, just a couple weeks or so, no, just about a week after my grandmother died, and I encountered a homeless man in the same park I was going to record a tornado siren. Well, unfortunately, the tornado siren failed, and as a double whammy, that homeless man told me he had contemplated suicide the day prior to us meeting in the park and talking. And then, like I said in that video where I said I had to call the police, he went into the porta potty after he was done talking to me and didn't come out for well over half an hour. So I just called the police and told dispatch that that he was having thoughts of suicide, and he went into porta potty and didn't come back out. So I suspected he was trying to take his own life through the means of heat suffocation or exhaustion, something along those lines. I mean, it was pretty crazy stuff, and I just couldn't believe that I had to witness that within a week of, or within 2 weeks of my grandmother passing away. So it was, I mean, that took a toll on my mental health as well, but at least I took the initiative and got help for the guy. At least I hope I did, because you never know, he could have left the porta potty before the police arrived to check on him. But either way, I'm just glad I played it safe, because I'd rather play it safe than be sorry. I mean, if I had known about this when I talked to him, I would have told him to call 988, because that is the new suicide prevention lifeline. Forgot what it was before. I think it was something like 1-800-255-TALK, if I recall correctly, but now it's 988, which is 3 easy numbers to remember, much like 911 for emergencies. So I definitely think that needed to be done, because there are some people out there who have mental health crises more serious than mine, and they're actually suicidal. Thankfully, I'm not to that point, and hopefully I never will be, but I mean, I was at one point when I was 16, like I had talked about with you guys before. But that was when I was just being fucking stupid. I mean, to tell you the truth, I made some pretty poor choices. But I'm not afraid to admit when I'm in the wrong, so, you know, eventually, I mean, it might be hard at first, but eventually I do admit whenever I'm in the wrong, because honesty goes a long way with a lot of people, including myself. So be hypocritical to be dishonest with myself and say I'm not in the wrong when I clearly am at times. Like, nobody's perfect. But yeah, just thought I would share what's on my mind lately and how I feel about it, because it's truly awful. And, you know, just people in general have been more toxic lately, and this is all because of, I mean, this is all post-pandemic stress or something like that. I mean, it's, the toxicity in people has gone up ever since the COVID-19 pandemic started in 2020. So there you go. That's about all I have to share. Peace out.